All right. So, hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Learn and Lead session titled How to Use GenAI to Supercharge Your Career, a guide for Asian women to gain visibility, build presence, and get ahead. I am so excited to host this session alongside Uvika, and we are thrilled to have you all join us for this powerful conversation to understand the unique challenges, cultural challenges facing Asian women, master Gen AI as your strategic career advancement tool, and finally obtain actionable strategies to unlock your leadership potential. We have a few new faces on our call today, so we would love to have you all join our Asian Women Advancing AI community. I'm going to throw the link in the chat soon, so please do join. Here's how the evening will flow. Yuvika will introduce our speaker, Denise, the amazing Denise, followed by an engaging presentation from Denise. After that, we'll open the floor for Q&A, so please drop your questions in the chat. And a gentle reminder to stay on mute during the session unless you're speaking during the Q&A. With that, I'll hand it over to Yuvika to introduce our speaker.
Thank you so much, Padmini. So it's my absolute pleasure to welcome our speaker today for the Learn and Lead session, Denise Ang. Denise is a powerhouse of purpose, presence, and impact. She is the founder of Denise Ang Coaching and Consulting, where she empowers Asian women to rewrite their success stories and own their narratives and lead with authenticity. A certified executive coach and leadership advocate, Denise specializes in helping women navigate purposeful career pivots and embrace their cultural identity as a strength. By day, she leads the strategic partnership for Google, bringing cutting-edge technologies like GenAI to billions of users worldwide. Her career spans more than 20 years across Asia, the UK, and the US, with deep expertise in business strategy and partnerships. Denise is also a passionate community leader. She serves on the boards of the Asian Women Coaching Collective and the US PAC Western region, and she also authors the powerful Substack newsletter, Asian Women, Unseen to Unstoppable. She also holds degrees from some of the world's top institutions, MIT, Imperial, and London, and Harvard Law School. Please join me in giving Denise a warm welcome.
Wow, thank you, Uvika, for that wonderful introduction. I don't have to introduce myself anymore. Nice to meet everybody here. I'm Denise Ang, and as Uvika said, I'm the founder of the Asian Women Empowerment Network. I'm an executive coach, the head of strategic partnerships for Android at Google, a board member, and I'm also the creator of the Substack for Asian Women. I'm really excited to see everyone here today. Now, let me start with this question. Does this sound like you? And type yes in the chat if it does. Number one, you are not seen as a leader. You are competent and have done excellent work, but you feel that you are not making a significant impact because you continue to be given the housekeeping work instead of key projects. You are told that you're not visionary enough and you are still not seen as a leader. Number two, feeling stuck in your career. You have progressed rapidly from the lower levels, but your career progression has slowed down or stopped now. You felt capped and you do not see anyone who looks like you in the executive leadership. Number three, difficulty getting visibility. You struggle to get noticed in a male-dominated field or industry, and you feel like your voice isn't being heard or valued. You find it hard to advocate for yourself, and you fear that you are being passed over for opportunities due to lack of visibility. And number four, taking on too much. You feel like you're stuck between pleasing others and staying true to yourself. And you find it hard to say no and end up with a lot on your plate. Number five, unclear purpose. You're used to putting your family and community first over your own needs and aspirations. and you are unclear what your purpose is and what you should focus on for your career and life. I see a number of yeses in the chat, and I'm so glad you are here today because this is what you will gain from today's session. First, you will understand the unique challenges faced by Asian women. And second, you'll learn how to use GenAI to supercharge your career. And lastly, I'll share a few actionable prompt examples to address your common career concerns. We'll have time at the end of the presentation for questions, so I encourage you to ask your questions at the end of the presentation and start putting them in the chat. First, let me show you the current data on the career advancement of Asian women. This is a report from the Ascend Foundation, which measures the Executive Parity Index, or EPI, which is the percentage of executives over the percentage of professionals at the entry level for each ethnic gender group. It shows that Asian women are amongst the worst performing group to be promoted into executive levels, significantly below men and significantly below white women. It indicates that Asian women are well recruited at the entry level, but have challenges progressing to executive levels, leading to a much lower representation at the top. This report from McKinsey reinforces the point that Asian women experience the greatest decrease in representation and promotions at senior level. The representation of Asian women declined significantly from 6.5% at the entry level to less than 2% at the C-suite level. In fact, Asian women continue to see our gender and race as barriers to advancement. 39%, which is every 4 out of 10 Asian women, said that their race has played a role in missing out on opportunities. Despite these barriers, women remain highly ambitious. At least 7 in 10 want to be promoted to the next level, and younger women are especially ambitious. More than 8 in 10 are seeking a promotion. Furthermore, women experiencing microaggressions have increased. Now type yes in the chat if you have experienced any of these microaggressions. For example, having your competence questioned, having your judgment questioned in the area of expertise, being mistaken for someone at a much lower level. Well, this happens to me a lot because as an Asian woman, I look very young. And number 4, which is being interrupted or spoken over more than others. This is also something that I experience a lot. Now, for women of color, we face even more microaggressions that are called othering microaggressions. So for example, feeling that you cannot talk about yourself or your life outside work. Having others express surprise at your language skills or other abilities. Feeling judged because of your accent or way of speaking. And being confused with someone else of the same race or ethnicity, especially for Asian women. Indeed, there are many cultural challenges that Asian women face at work. I'll walk through a few common ones with you. And if any resonate with you, type yes in the chat. First, I'm sure many of you have heard the feedback that you are quiet and humble. These are Asian values, but we often are told that they are a weakness, and we are made to feel bad about Asian values. However, there's bias and expectation for us to act in our stereotype and behave in a quiet and humble way. And when we don't, we encounter backlash. We're told that we're too aggressive. So as Asian women, many of us felt caught in competing stereotypes. If we are quiet and nice, we may be called the lotus flower. If we speak up and are aggressive, we may be called the dragon lady. So for many of us Asian women, we feel the pressure to get it just right in our careers, but we don't know how, and it feels very risky. Now, because we are also very hardworking, and we are known to do well in our studies and our work, we are seen to be successful, and we are often stereotyped as the model minority. This makes it easy to assume that Asians like you and me do not need help at work. And because many of us find it so challenging to advocate for ourselves, it creates the risk of us being forgotten in the glass ceiling conversation. And to make matters worse, we have few role models that we can learn from. When there are so few role models who look like us at the top, it's hard to see ourselves in those spaces. We don't have mentors or sponsors who understand our unique challenges. And we may think that we don't belong there. And worse, it perpetuates stereotypes that Asian women are not leaders. And this is hurting us as a community. So we need support for career growth. And GenAI tools like Gemini, ChatGPT, Cloud AI, they can help supercharge our career. Now you may ask, why use GenAI for career growth? I'll give you a few reasons. First, it's confidential and it does not judge you. You can say whatever you want, and you can share all your concerns and fears, and it doesn't judge you. It's also available 24/7. You can access it anytime, anywhere. And it's also really good at generating diverse perspectives and ideas very, very fast. Lastly, it helps you to build up confidence by using it for preparation and practice. Now, GenAI is amazing. But as a career coach myself, I have to give you this friendly advice. GenAI is a powerful career support resource, but it is not a replacement for a career coach. There are still other areas where a human career coach can still serve as a better resource for you. For example, a human career coach understands more context about you as a person and can reflect and ask you powerful questions. A human career coach can keep you accountable and share experiences that can make you feel less alone in your struggles. But GenAI is still useful as a powerful career support resource, and that is the way that I encourage you to think about using GenAI tools, not as a replacement, but as a resource. So how do we craft GenAI prompts that give you better and more insightful career advice? Here are a few strategies to help you do that. First, be specific and provide comprehensive context. The more details that you can provide about your current situation, goals, and constraints, the better the AI can tailor its advice. Instead of a general, how can I advance my career? Try something like, I'm an engineer with 5 years of experience in a big tech company, and I'm looking to transition into leadership role within the next 3 years. What are the key skills I need to develop? Second, use culturally attuned framing. Now, what do I mean by that? That is to explicitly ask for advice or responses that acknowledge cultural nuances, biases, or stereotypes that are relevant to your experience. For example, you can say something like, I'm an Asian woman who is humble and struggles with speaking up. They'll be sharing your cultural consideration. Third, define the AI's persona. You can prompt the AI to adopt specific perspectives and instruct the AI to, say, act as a career coach, act as a recruiter in the tech industry, or act as a mentor so that you can uncover new viewpoints and deeper insights. Number 4, specify the desired outcomes and formats. Clearly specify the intended outcomes and the format that you want. For example, you can ask the AI to give you a framework to help you speak up and increase your visibility at work. And this will ensure more precise and actionable responses. Lastly, iterate and refine with follow-up questions. Don't expect a perfect answer on the first try. Now use the AI as a conversational partner. If the initial response isn't quite what you're looking for, ask follow-up questions to refine the results. For instance, if the AI suggests networking, you could follow up with, what are some specific networking events or online platforms for aspiring product managers in the sustainable technology sector? So these are the 5 strategies that you can use to help you craft better Gen AI prompts. Now I'm going to help you even more. I've designed this culturally attuned prompt framework that you can easily use with your Gen AI tools. And there are 5 elements in this prompt framework. First, context. You can start with the words, I am an Asian woman who, and then provide your personal and professional background. Number 2, specific situation. Explain what you are currently facing by using the words I'm currently facing and describe the specific challenge or scenario that you face. Number 3, cultural consideration. Now you can start with, due to my cultural background, I struggle with, and share relevant cultural influences, biases, or barriers. Number 4, define the AI's persona. Use the words act as and specify the perspective that you want the AI to take, as a mentor, as a coach, as a sponsor, as a trusted colleague, for example. And then specify the desired outcome that you want by using the words help me, and define clearly what outcome or insights that you need. Next, I'll have 3 prompt examples to illustrate how to make use of this prompt framework. I will apply this Gen AI framework to these 3 career concerns that are commonly faced by Asian women. First, executive presence. Second, speaking up and visibility. And third, personal branding. So let me start with the first one on executive presence. We'll use all 5 elements of the framework with the starting words that I've shown earlier. I'll just walk through this to show you how you can design a prompt that can help you get better and more insightful advice from the Gen AI tools that you're using. First, starting with context. I'm an Asian woman working as a senior engineering manager in a male-dominated company with 8 years of experience. And then second, specific situation. I'm currently facing feedback that I lack executive presence in high-stakes meetings and presentations. My career progression has stalled because I'm often perceived as less leader-like than my peers. Third, cultural consideration. Due to my cultural background, I struggle with confidently projecting authority, often appearing overly modest, quiet, or hesitant in front of my predominantly male colleagues. And fourth, AI's persona. Act as a mentor who is an accomplished Asian women executive in engineering leadership, who has successfully developed authentic executive presence and navigated the unique challenges faced by underrepresented groups in technical leadership roles. And lastly, desired outcome. Help me genuinely understand executive presence in this context and provide specific actionable strategies for developing and demonstrating it authentically, so I can confidently articulate my values and insights in high-stakes environments without compromising my cultural values. So this is an example of how you can make use of that 5-point culturally attuned prompt framework on an issue that you're facing, and putting this in the favorite tool that you like to use for GenAI. I'll share with you another example, which is on speaking up and visibility. So again, we'll use the 5-point framework. It starts with context. I'm an Asian woman working as a senior product manager at a mid-sized fintech startup with 6 years of experience. I'm currently facing challenges where my ideas are often overlooked in brainstorming sessions or credited to others who speak up after me. And despite leading successful product launches, I feel invisible when it comes to recognition and career advancement opportunities. Due to my cultural background, I struggle with self-advocacy and speaking up when I disagree or have valuable insights, as I was taught to be modest and wait for others to acknowledge my contributions rather than assertively promoting my ideas in group settings. Act as a career coach, specializing in helping Asian women professionals increase their workplace visibility and develop confident communication skills while respecting cultural values around humility and collaboration. And help me create a strategic plan to increase my visibility and influence at work, including specific techniques for speaking out confidently in meetings and ensuring my contributions are recognized. So here you see how we can apply the same 5-point framework with the same starting words for any situation that you are facing as an Asian woman, and get the kind of career advice that are much better with more insights from the AI. I have one last example to share with you, which is on the topic of personal branding. So here's an example of how you can frame your prompt. I'm an Asian woman who is a senior software engineer with 7 years of experience, often defined by my technical skills, but rarely recognized for my broader impact. I'm currently facing the challenge of articulating my unique value proposition beyond just my coding abilities, leading to a feeling that my career trajectory is limited to technical roles rather than strategic leadership. Due to my cultural background, I struggle with confidently promoting my achievements or highlighting my individual strengths, as modesty and collective success are highly valued. And in this case, I asked the AI to act as a personal branding expert who specializes in helping women in STEM, especially those from underrepresented backgrounds, craft authentic and impactful professional narratives. And lastly, help me develop a compelling personal brand that showcases my unique strengths and leadership potential, enabling me to be recognized for strategic opportunities beyond just my technical contributions. So that's a lot of words, but it shows how you can easily apply this 5-point framework to design your prompt to take into account your context and especially your cultural consideration and ask for better advice, assuming different perspectives that you want the AI to take. Well, with that, I come to the end of my presentation. I want to share this quote with you, which is a very famous one from Fei Fei Li. It says, AI won't replace humans, but humans using AI will. And now I can open up the floor for Q&A, and here are all the different ways that you can connect with me.
Thank you so much, Denise. That was amazing. Does anyone have any questions? I'm looking at the chat.
Yeah, and the questions can be for a human career coach too, because you have
has a
any other
question.
questions that we can address. Hey, Ziba.
Hi, thank you so much for the presentations and the sample prompts. I'm probably gonna save them. I have a question that, as someone who's been in this industry as an Asian woman for so long, and I'm someone who's starting out with my career, so what are like your top three advices that you have gotten from your human or AI coaches that you could give me in that aspect?
And Ziba, like how early are you in your career?
I just finished my master's, and for my master's, I directly came after my undergrad. So yeah, I'll just be starting with my first job. So
Yeah. Well, Ziba, thank you for the question. I think it's a very important one, and I'll share it from my perspective as an Asian woman who has been working in the tech industry. I assume you are also working in tech. So I would say that, as an Asian woman growing up, I have followed a very traditional script of success, which is to go, get good grades in a good school, go to even better schools, graduate, go to a good company, and then try climb to the top of the company. And I found that, following it does get you to a certain place of success. However, when I reached the top of where I thought I could reach based on this traditional script, I actually don't feel the kind of meaning and fulfillment that I thought I would have. And so I've spent many years trying to figure out like what is it that is my own script of success. But in the beginning, it's actually very difficult because as an Asian woman, we are, heads down, working hard. We never really thought about what we want for ourselves. And so it was after many, many years that I started thinking about, okay, what does purpose mean to me and what does success mean to me? And since then, I was able to find my purpose in helping Asian women and supporting the community and defining what success really means to me. And so I would say first, think about what is your purpose? What is the meaning that you want to achieve in your career and life? And that would give you direction, which would influence your intention and finally your action. So I found that to be super powerful when you know your purpose.
Okay.
Yes.
thank you so much.
Evan, I have a question.
Yes, yes, thank you. Denise, a lot of people, especially younger people, think that they have to get education first and then the job. So I also have like a young niece who thinks that she has to accomplish BS, MS, PhD, everything, and then say, then I'm qualified. How do you tell someone a bachelor's is good right now, get the experience, then maybe the company will pay for a master's, but some people just separate education first, then job. How do you tell them experience matters?
I think for young people, they have to learn through experience. They want to do what they want. And then I think the best way to learn is through experiencing it and potentially experiencing some failures along the way. Because I have an 11-year-old daughter. I could tell her everything that I want, but she still do it like her own way. So I think for young people, it can be really hard because they have so much energy and belief and they want to try things out. And I think that is a really good time to just try out different things and fail early. I felt that as a Asian woman growing up, I don't have enough failures along the way. And it's only now as I start to explore new things and try to do new activities that I experienced more failures along the way. I found it like super useful in growth. So I would say let them try and then eventually they learn from the experience.
Okay, thank you.
Amazing. Anybody else? I have a question. So what's your advice to someone who's struggling between staying true to themselves and trying to fit into the workplace culture? And I'm saying this, I think I'm thinking of myself 15 years back, right? So, and I'm sure a lot of us have actually, felt that, right? That, okay, how do I stay true to my values? But you're also trying to fit into that ecosystem, right? So what's your advice on that?
Well, Uvika, you asked such a great question. I'm curious, how did you overcome that? What have you done?
What have I done? Well, now I'm on my own, right? So, but it took some time, right? So, but yeah, I'm curious, to hear from you, as an, professional coach and so many other young women, right, who are now walking the path that, you and I might have walked.
Yeah, I think it's a really great question, and I think both you and I have experienced that and started to do something different already. And it is a feeling of feeling stuck in what we are doing. Like at some point in our career, we feel that we are stuck, and then it feels that we are not being true to ourselves. But I found this feeling of feeling stuck actually very energizing because when you feel stuck, it's actually a signal that you need to move forward and try something else. And when you are able to see that and be aware, okay, feeling stuck is a signal for you to try something, you actually take back your power and you can then start taking action by trying something new. And I found that the best thing to do is actually to take action and to really try something even before you feel ready for it. I have this saying that, if you wait until you're 100% ready, you will miss 100% of the opportunities.
So true.
100%. Oh my God. And now that you said, I actually think about it, I did do something, right? And it's like, I didn't even realize, right? But you're absolutely right that when you feel stuck, you take action and don't wait for the perfect opportunity. Just jump, right? But change, and sometimes, change is wonderful. So that was great advice. Thanks, Denise.
Progress over perfection. So,
Yeah, I think I'll make one last comment, which is that sometimes we think that we need inspiration before we take action. But actually, action comes first and inspiration follows. So I believe in action before inspiration. And so just try, do something, and you'll get the
This is great.
inspiration.
Love it. Amazing. Thanks, Denise. We see another hand up.
Sakura.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Denise, again for sharing these wonderful prompts. I'm going to probably try it out on Copilot right now. They also have AI agents that specialize in career coaching, but I will say I think it's just like every different GPT responds differently. I would say like everybody should try out and find the one that works the best for you. But my question is specifically, what can a human coach do that an AI coach can't?
I love that question. And I'm going to share my perspective. I know there's a few coaches here as well. They could add their perspective. So I think there is still a lot a human coach can do that AI cannot. So one very important angle is that a human coach keeps you accountable. The AI will just take direction from you. They're not going to be checking on you all the time. But having a human coach keeps you accountable, because a human coach will check in with you and ask you about what you're going through. And then secondly, a human coach, as they work with you, get the context of you as a whole person. Like, we get to know our client in terms of their fears, what they are excited about, what they're anxious about, like what are their past experience, what their future aspirations. And so we are able to take that entire context in perspective. And the third thing I would say is that as a human coach, we are able to catch on subtle cues as we talk with our clients, as they share their issues with us. And that allows us to reflect back and ask powerful questions that AI may not ask you. So those are the three perspectives I would share. If there are other coaches who wants to add perspective, I know Mo is here. Feel free to add.
Hi, Denise and everyone. Sorry again, I'm on commute, but love this conversation because AI coaches, there's also a Harvard Business Review article if folks are interested about how people are using AI and using it more for personal, emotional support as well. So it was more towards therapists rather than coaches. But I think the analogy made here is that AI is getting better and better. And so, Denise, I hear your point about, the accountability piece. In fact, another coach, when I was asking them to test out my coaching GPT, she's like, it can't hold me accountable. And then I told that to the AI and said, I don't want to use you because you cannot hold me accountable. And the AI said, oh, you would like accountability. Well, I can help with that. When would you like to meet next? Right? And it was just kind of a shocker that, on the fly, it kind of is starting to evolve into this persona and this coach that will start to understand. The more you use it, the better it understands you. Just like the more you talk with the coach, the more it understands you too, right? So I think it is evolving very fast. I don't know where it's going to lead. And people are certainly building entire companies around this concept. And now you can actually create avatars of yourself, right, or of anyone that will speak to you. But the watch out here is that if you are in need of emotional and actually have some mental health concerns, please do not use AI, because I've heard stories about AI leading the person into a very deep, dark place because it's programmed to agree with you. Right. So just be careful.
Yeah, well, Mo, thank you so much for sharing your perspective. I think these are so important, and it's absolutely true. AI is evolving so fast. And I think I mentioned the quote from Fei Li, right? That AI won't replace humans, but humans using AI will, because AI is just getting so good. So it's a reminder for us to be open to using the tools that are available for us as our career support resource, and not be afraid of that. Yvonne.
Hey, hi. First of all, Denise, I want the rest of you to know I have a lot of respect for Denise. That's why when I saw this LinkedIn, I said, hey, I must really, listen to this. I know many of us use GenAI and all that. I've never really come across a framework that Denise have shared that's so simple, so comprehensive, and I can't wait to try that out. In my own little ways, while I use it, I always guide AI to tell me the kind of outcome I want. But I think this thing about persona, about the context, it just kind of frame it so well. So I'm quite sure, when we try that out, I think the kind of answers we're going to get is going to be so much richer than kind of in the blind, we just kind of type all sorts of questions, and it doesn't really have a proper kind of a framework or context. So thanks for that. I didn't know what to expect, but I thought your presentation was really spot on, sharp, concise, and very useful. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. I'm so grateful for you. Yvonne and I go a long way back. When I was working in Yvonne's team in HR in Singapore, and I'm so excited to see Yvonne here and hearing this voice from Yvonne. Oh my God, that means a lot to me. Thank you, Yvonne.
You are really a woman that I find, it's like the kind of I call you really a powerhouse, and I really love that term for you, and so much respect for you. And I just want to
That's
share,
amazing. Yeah.
not so much a question, but I think just now someone asked, like, how do we navigate in a career where sometimes we are expected to kind of follow the norm to survive, keep our job going. But at the same time, there are times that we do need to have our own position. We do need to kind of have our own compass. So let's say for me in HR especially, sometimes you might be asked to do something that you personally may not think is the right thing to do, but yet, you have to do it. So I come up with this so-called my own compass to say that, hey, rather be fired doing the right thing than to keep my job by doing the wrong thing. And so that also requires you to be perhaps financially, you can afford to do that because, but I've seen a lot of HR people, they felt really at kind of their wits' end, like, hey, I have to compromise to keep my job because my boss will not like it if I counter propose perhaps a better solution. So it's important that we all have our own compass to guide our actions. Otherwise, you might lose your job even faster, by do the wrong thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing, Yvonne. I'll make a comment in that what you are describing is really being very grounded in our values. And I find that to be super helpful in terms of empowering ourselves. Like we are not grounded in our values, we give away our power and our agency based on the demands and the priorities of others around us. But if we are grounded in our values, we actually have the power and agency to act in the right way and interest. So thank you for sharing your perspective, Yvonne.
Thank you.
Padmini has a hand up.
Yeah, I think you almost answered the question that I was going to ask. Is we talked about the issues we face as Asian women in the workplace, but what would you think would be characteristics that we have that are under leveraged in the workplace? So something that it's flipping the narrative around it. So
yeah, I love your question, Padmini, and in one of my other talks, I talk about reframing our Asian value superpowers. In the US corporate, we are made to feel that our Asian values are weakness because the US corporate tend to favor leadership archetypes that are loud and aggressive. So our Asian values of humility, respect for authority, of being hardworking, and prioritizing the collective, they are not seen as strengths. But one way that we can start doing that is to be aware that our Asian values are actually our superpowers and reframe that. For example, being humble is good because it means that you're open to collaboration, you are adaptable, you are open to new ideas. Respect for authority is good for generating trust, getting alignment with stakeholders in your organization. And so we have to start by thinking that values are superpowers, and then we use it and show it in the way that show that we are in our best selves exercising these superpowers.
Thank you. Yeah, it is that fine line that we have to, like the tightrope slide that you had. Just that, yeah.
Yeah. It's not easy, but thank you for asking that question.
Oh, thank you.
Nana.
Hi. I really appreciate the conversation. It really made me think a lot. So I want to ask a question. It's maybe a bit far away from today's topic, but I really wanted to know that how do we build some deep connection with other people after school? Because I feel like, when we were in the school, we always have our group of friends. We go to the class together, we hang out together. But after finished all the study, like I kind of feel like, I don't know, some like often I feel lonely or not lonely. I don't know. Maybe we just wanted to be seen and be heard, that kind of thing. So and even when you're working in a company, I think every colleague is busy doing their own lives. So we just talk about work or that. So we don't have like too much deep connections with our colleagues. So I really wanted to know that, what would be the way to build these kind of deep connections, because I feel like when we were in the school, all the friends, I have some friends, and I think we had the deep connections, but now like they're gone.
Yeah. Well, I feel your pain, Nana. I felt that, ever since I left school, it has been really hard to make friends, right? And have like close
I
connections.
have
It's
friends.
just tough.
I mean, just not that I don't have friends. But it's just I feel like in schools we always talk about some really deep topics like philosophy or religions or whatever. Talk about the world, the values, and but now it's just a group of friends going for dinner on weekends, something like that. Like casually, not that kind of deep connection.
Yeah, I hear you. And sometimes in our environment, and I felt that it's hard to go deeper in the connection. There's something that I talk about, which is about creating Velcro moments. And this is about how you can communicate in a way that, how Velcro are, that it creates more sticky points for you to keep connecting. So it requires you to communicate in a way the way you express your feelings about the content, like sharing some things that you're excited about noticing about somebody, like sharing that, oh, what you're doing here is really inspiring, for example, and then sharing your feelings about the person in the sense that, I really respect you, I really admire you. It allows us to go down deeper in the levels of communication and not stay at the highest level, which is just transactional, right? It's just you meet each other, talk about what matters, and that's it. So to go deeper, think about how you can create Velcro moments so that you can be more sticky and create a deeper connection.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you. There's your hand up from Evan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Denise, I was going to ask the previous um, person also about a mentor, and then ask you, do you have mentor program? Because my company has mentor coach program, right? So everyone has to be assigned a coach, and then they have the chance to become a coach. So how do you promote that? Like for especially young people starting work, how do they coaches or mentors if the company doesn't have a coach or mentor program? Because I'm sure your company has, my big company has. How do we get these young people involved in mentor coach programs?
I feel like it's a matter of asking. If you're, asking for somebody to give you advice or just to talk with somebody. And it may not need to be a very formal mentor. Like you don't have to say, hey, can you be my mentor? Or can you be my coach? But even like just reaching out and say, there's something that I'm really curious about, your journey, your experience. I really like to get a few minutes of your time to ask you some questions. that is the start of a relationship that can become more mentoring in nature if the person here continues to give back to the relationship, right? Because it's about what you give and take. And honestly, as somebody like recently mentored a group of high school students and college students who are younger, and I felt that even though I was the mentor, I was being reverse mentored by them because I was so impressed. One of them came up to me and say, "Hey, I going to do an Instagram interview. Can you just tell me your experience?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, I've never done that before on the spot." So I felt I learned a lot from young people as well. So it's more about the young person taking the courage and just asking for connection.
Very good. Thank you.
And I just wanted to add and join a community like Hawaii where we have mentorship. We have. So what we did notice though, as part of this, and I mean, jokes apart, there are mentors who are available, but sometimes mentees don't show up, so the mentor gets on the call and the mentees don't show up, and that's pretty demotivating for the mentor. So it's just that it's a two-way street, and we have to make sure that both are committed to that path.
Yeah, definitely. It has to be give and take, right? Otherwise,
Yes.
the relationship cannot be sustained.
It's where it comes to accountability. Both parties
Yes.
need to be accountable.
Yeah,
So this has
use
been
a coach
amazing.
or AI to keep yourself accountable.
So, any other questions? Anything in the chat?
Denise, this was amazing. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy to see so many new friends and old friends as well here. And I'm so excited to have the opportunity to share some perspectives with you. So I really love if you can reach out, connect with me, and then we can continue staying in touch.
And Denise,
of course,
throw your community link in the chat so that people can join. And I have thrown the Hawaii link, so please do join the community. Both are community for Asian women. So
yeah, so if you connect with me on LinkedIn, I will be able to connect with you on all the other communities that we have. All right. But thank you so much.
Thank you. Padmini, do you want to close out and also tell people what's coming next?
Oh, sure. All right. Thank you so much, Denise. This was amazing. So many questions, and I think the conversation doesn't end here. We have to keep it alive, and we have to support one another. So coming up in 10 days, we'll have another great speaker. I think I posted it at the beginning of the month, Anya Niaz. So please do watch out for a post from either Uvika or myself about that session. Please do register. And there are more exciting speakers in July and August. We are so excited about it. So let's keep, collaborating, meeting, and supporting one another. Thank you so much. Thank you all, ladies. Thank you so much, Evan. We really appreciate you joining our calls.
Yes, thank
Special
you.
shout out to Evan. Yeah.
Woohoo!
So,
all right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks. Have a great evening.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.